On football games, it's time to bring in our man Brandon Lang. 2 for 4 last week. You know, the Ravens-Texans game came off the board because of Hurricane Ike. He's 5 for 9 of the season, but we'll bring it back and start with the Ravens giving 2 at home against their AFC North rivals, the Browns. What you got, Brandon?
Tell you what, Ray Lewis, I know he loved it, and I'm going to force the Browns to step up here and show me that they can play a football game. Dallas completely destroyed them on opening week. Pittsburgh went in there, probably took the foot off the gas pedal a little bit. Pittsburgh should have beat the Browns by a lot more, but they didn't. Cleveland hung around in that ball game, but still offensively could do nothing, just managing 6 points. This is a Cleveland Browns team who I said going into this year was very fortunate to be 10-6 last year. Now people looked at them like that. I look at them at an 8-8 team, and they're showing me this year. This is a bad Browns football team. I learned my lesson going against the Ravens in week 1 when they beat Cincinnati at home. I'm going to ride the Ravens, so I'm going to lay the 2.
All right, the Eagles coming off a short week here, that big Monday nighter against Dallas that everybody was watching. Now they come home, but they play the Steelers. Big national game.
Amazing, this Philadelphia offense. Think about this. They put up 38 points in week 1 against St. Louis at home. Then they go on the road Monday night at Dallas and put up 37. Now, they could have very easily put up 50. 3 field goals, a couple touchdowns there. They score 50 on the Dallas Cowboys. This is a Philadelphia team doing this without their 2 wide receivers. That's how good their offense and their offensive line is playing. Not a believer in Pittsburgh. Yeah, they beat up on a Texans team in week 1. But the real Pittsburgh team is when they can't run the football. And Roethlisberger's got to win it with his arm. He can't do it, as 10 points at Cleveland will show you. He's going to see a big pass rush. They're not going to be able to run the football against Philadelphia. Eagles win this game big. And this line might move to 3.5. If it does by the half, make sure you lay 3.
All right, a couple of difficult teams to figure out here. Jacksonville getting 5.5 at Indy.
You know what? They're playing for their life. I mean, this Indy team is Tavarius Jackson play away from being 0-2. 5 field goals, 1 touchdown in any of those drives, and they beat Indy. We're looking at an 0-2 Colt team. But you know what? Peyton found a way to get it done. Now they're back home, and Jacksonville matches up well with this Indy team. No Bob Sanders. Jacksonville should be able to run the football and keep this game close. They are playing for their season. They can ill afford to start 0-3, especially in this division. I'm going to take Jacksonville plus the 5.5.
All right, another team in a similar situation. You mentioned Tavares Jackson. He's out. Gus Frerotte is in. Vikings at home this week against Carolina.
Boy, you start making quarterback changes in week 3, you've got some problems with your football team. I don't trust Minnesota any way I can throw them. Carolina is a great underdog. Think about this. They go to San Diego week 1 plus 9.5 and win the game outright as a dog. Their last 37 times as an underdog. The Carolina Panthers have covered 26 of those 37. A 26-11 run as a dog. I tell people all the time, the best way to win money with Carolina, you bet with them as an underdog, against them as a favorite. They're a dog here. I'll grab them plus 3.5.
All right, time for the big 2 for the money. Best bet pick. You got Kurt Warner and the Arizona Cardinals. Warner playing like he was the MVP in years past, but Washington at home coming off their first win of the year.
Here you go. Listen to this. Beep, 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 beep. You know what that is? That are the dump trucks backing up for the Kurt Warner implosion that's going to happen here on Sunday for your Washington Redskins. They made Drew Brees look terrible, and they got the job done over the Saints. Campbell threw for over 300 yards. Kurt Warner has beaten who? The Niners on the road? Miami at home? Now we're going to see the Kurt Warner that everybody saw that forced him to go to Arizona as the backup quarterback. I like what Washington showed me last week. I'm not a believer in this Arizona football team. Warner will see pressure from that front line of Washington. And when the smoke clears, Washington wins this game big over an Arizona team that I'm still not a believer in. This line might move to 3.5. If it does by the half, make sure you let 3. Never get beat by the hook. Washington forces Warner to implode. Get on the Redskins.
Brandon Lang, 5-4 overall entering week 3 of the NFL season. Brandon, we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Russ.